Rainbow Reflections, Book 1, A Kind of Magic, Chapter 27, Cool Cat. Hyaktu breathed in the fresh morning air, watching the sun climb into the sky as his indigo robe flapped about his ankles in the cool wind. He glanced over his shoulder at Jabali, who now had his curly hair styled as a messy tail that sat on top of his head. The two men had just departed Jabali's house, and it was still quite early in the day. "We're making good time," Hyaktu said, scanning the rainbow-colored trees below the flying ship. "We should make it to the school soon." Jabali crossed the deck to Hyaktu's side, his feet thudding loudly against the wood. He peered down at the forest too, a frown on his bearded face.
"So, what were you wanting to tell me? All you said on the call was that there was a new development and you needed me at once. But why haven't you told me anything?"
Hyaktu switched to telepathy at once. "I don't want anyone overhearing, and I had to wait to be in range for telepathy."
"Did you figure out Ren's images?"
Jabali asked in a whisper. "Not quite. I was just doing some Qigong in the family room this morning when I looked out the window and saw a cat."
"What?"
Jabali yelped, his eyes widening as he took a step back. "Shush!" Hyaktu ordered, glancing all around them before setting his eyes back on Jabali. "I saw a farm cat, but I don't know if it's actually them. The cat ran off before I could get a good look. But with what's been going on the past few months..."
"You think they're back?"
Jabali muttered solemnly. "Yes, and I want us to find them before..."
"Your pocket!"
Jabali suddenly gasped.
"There's spirit magic in your pocket!"
Hyaktu reached for the mirror shard in his robe, but it was blazing hot when he tried to grasp it. Wincing in pain, he grabbed it and dropped it as soon as it was out. The shard was glowing brightly as it hit the ground, and both men raised their hands to cover their eyes. After a moment, the shard stopped glowing. Hyaktu blinked several times, then detected a movement to his left. He rolled about, but it was only the sail flapping in the wind.
"Hyaktu!" Jabali yelled. "Behind you!"
Hyaktu dived for the floor and rolled towards Jabali, not wasting time to see what Jabali was pointing at. Once he was beside Jabali, he turned around. His violet eyes landed on a small creature at the front of the ship. "Kaokat," Hyaktu uttered. The cat looked up at him and grinned widely, their pupilless eyes and jagged mouth outlined in bright red. They didn't have a nose, and none of their toes could be seen, their body jet black. "Hello, Hyaktu," the spirit said. "Ah, it's been so long." Hyaktu frowned as he got to his feet, numbness tingling through his fingertips. "I thought you were dead. I thought you had perished all those years ago." The cat's form changed. They now appeared almost like a farm cat. Their thick coat was solid red now, and each of their toes could be seen. Their face was no longer so creepy, and appeared almost normal, with a nose and whiskers. But their eyes were now pitch black, and the slitted pupils were neon red. Hyaktu knew these pupils always remained in slits, no matter how much light hit or didn't hit them. The cat wore a blue crescent moon necklace.
"I hate it when that cat does that,"
Jabali muttered from beside Hyaktu. "Don't be such a critic, Bluebeard," Kaokat said, still smiling broadly. Jabali's teeth gritted.
"What are you doing here? Didn't you die?"
"Haha, of course I didn't die! How silly of you to assume such a ridiculous thing!" Kaokat chuckled, swishing their long tail. "Then what happened to you? Where have you been all these years?" Hyaktu pressed, his body tense.
"And what are you doing here now?"
Jabali repeated, his lip curling back. Kaokat snorted. "What? Do you really think I'd answer any of your questions?" "Yes," Hyaktu said, forcing his body to relax and his glare to soften. "Please, Kaokat, tell me what happened on the island." "No thanks."
"Tell us!"
Jabali growled.
"You have to tell us!"
"No, I don't," Kaokat sneered, their claws unsheathing and digging into the wood. I'm the one in control here, not you.
You're not in control.
Jabali growled, jabbing a broad finger in the cat's direction.
There's two of us, and we're more than ready for whatever you throw at us.
Are you really? Kao Cat chuckled. Their fur turned orange as they shifted into a different form. Hyaktu recalled the cat switching between colors in the blink of an eye. Red, orange, yellow, green, blue, purple. Once they changed, Kao Cat hopped onto the wheel at the front of the ship and turned it abruptly to one side. The vessel groaned as it swiveled, Hyaktu and Jabali staggering off balance. Stop! Hyaktu growled, falling to the floor. No, I don't think I will! Kao Cat laughed, sitting easily on top of the spinning wheel.
You're gonna make us crash!
Jabali shouted, before the air was knocked out of him when he slammed into the railing. Don't give them any ideas, Hyaktu retorted. Kao Cat chuckled. Ha, that idea's mine entirely. What do you want? Hyaktu seethed. Why are you doing this? It's in the name, darling. In case you've forgotten, I'm the bringer of chaos. And with that, Kao Cat turned purple before vanishing on the spot. Their maniacal laughter could be heard on the rushing wind.
Where did they go?
Jabali snarled, his hands curling into fists at his sides. Never mind that, we have to stop the ship before... But it was too late. The ship smashed into the colorful trees that had been below it just minutes before, bumping through branches and splintering wood. Hyaktu and Jabali were tossed about like dolls, hopeless to do anything as the vessel descended. The engines groaned loudly as they scraped trees and struggled to keep the ship in the air. Smoke filled the air. Something was burning. Get to the wheel! Hyaktu shouted, trying to propel himself forward before Jabali could be tossed into him again. A second later, the world seemed to explode.